starting a new venture, I mean, especially something as specialized as a veterinary clinic,
Yeah.
it means navigating this really complex world of decisions and requirements, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely far from just, hanging a shingle.
Yeah, yeah. So today, we're taking a deep dive into a very specific and I think really crucial roadmap, securing commercial real estate specifically for a veterinary practice.
Exactly. And while, general commercial leasing has its own set of rules, a veterinary clinic faces a total distinct landscape. Lots of unique considerations because it's just so specialized. So our mission today really is to unpack this comprehensive vet commercial leasing roadmap. We want to identify those critical steps and maybe some surprising insights that make this whole process unique for vets.
Okay, so let's kick things off right at the beginning. Even before you think about looking at floor plans or checking out neighborhoods, this roadmap says you need to ask yourself a series of really crucial questions first. Why is that initial reflection so vital?
What's really fascinating here, I think, is how these early questions, they don't just guide your search. They actually shape the structure of your future agreements, your negotiations later on. Think of them as your strategic foundation. We're talking about questions like, who are your ideal clients? And this isn't just marketing talk. It directly influences, the area you target, the specific amenities you might need.
Right.
Or who are good potential co-tenants. This can really inform your site selection.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you also have to ask, what are your risks? Understanding your potential risk directly influences how your agreements get structured, maybe where you need certain protective clauses, and who are your competitors? Will their presence influence the areas you choose? Or maybe even the services you decide to offer? And crucially, what are your 1, 3, and 5+ year plans? That kind of foresight. It profoundly impacts how you negotiate the lease itself, especially around things like expansion options or, really importantly, exit strategy.
Exit strategy,
So then there's the practical stuff. What's your budget for rent, for improvements? Your financial limits are obviously going to dictate the locations you can realistically even look at.
Of course.
And finally, how are you financing your location? This directly affects your financing timelines, and that in turn impacts your negotiation leverage with potential landlords.
So for you, the aspiring clinic owner listening, these aren't just like abstract thought exercises.
Not at all.
They're your strategic compass, right? They stop you from wasting valuable time on properties that just won't work, and maybe more importantly, they set you up for stronger, more confident negotiations down the line. It's like playing chess, not checkers, from day one.
Exactly. It's about being prepared.
Okay, so with those foundational questions sorted, the roadmap then dives into the real core of it. What truly sets a vet clinic's space needs apart from, say, a regular shop or an office? What are these unique, maybe non-negotiable requirements?
Yeah, this is where it gets really specific.
Yeah.
Because a vet clinic isn't just another business. It's essentially a small, sort of self-contained hospital.
Right, a mini hospital.
Exactly. And that elevates your real estate needs from just commercial space to mission-critical infrastructure. It influences everything from site selection right down to the very last clause in your lease agreement. The source we looked at breaks down several really critical areas.
Okay, lay 'em on us.
First up, specialized infrastructure requirements. We're talking about enhanced and ventilation systems.
Yeah.
And that's not just for comfort. It's crucial for managing odors, airborne pathogens, even for surgical sterilization.
Wow, okay.
Then there's soundproofing.
Aye.
Absolutely essential. You have to manage barking or other animal sounds so you don't disturb neighboring businesses or, heaven forbid, residents.
Nightmare scenario avoided.
Definitely. You also need things like medical gas lines, oxygen, anesthesia gas evacuation systems, and proper waste disposal. That means strict compliance with biomedical waste rules for sharps, biohazards, specific contracts for that.
Right.
And don't underestimate water and drainage. You'll likely need multiple sinks, floor drains, significant plumbing upgrades for exam rooms, surgery, cleaning stations. It adds up.
That sounds like a lot of plumbing.
It is. And sometimes you even need load-bearing floors for heavy equipment, like X-ray machines or maybe large surgical tables.
Okay, so that's infrastructure. What else?
Second big one, zoning and permits. This is huge. Veterinary use is often considered discretionary, which means it needs specific development permit approval. It's not just getting a simple business license.
Wow, more hurdles.
Yeah, municipalities often restrict things like kennels or outdoor runs or overnight boarding, especially if you're near residential areas,
Yeah.
and noise and odor concerns. They can lead to very specific conditions being put on your approval.
Got it. What's third?
Third, your utility and service load. It's going to be significantly higher than a typical retail or office tenant. We're talking more electricity, more water. And depending on the services you offer, backup power might even be necessary for emergency surgeries or keeping refrigerators running.
Right. Critical systems.
Exactly. Fourth, lease negotiation considerations become very different. You're typically looking at longer lease terms, often 7 to 10 years, maybe even more.
Why so long?
Because the upfront cost to build out a medical facility, the medical fit-out, is incredibly high. Way more than just putting up shelves in a retail store.
Makes sense.
So, to help offset those huge upfront costs, you'll be negotiating hard for tenant improvement allowances, or TI allowances. That's basically money from the landlord towards your build-out. Or you might ask for rent-free periods while you're doing construction.
Okay, TI and rent-free. What else in the lease?
You'll almost certainly request exclusive use clauses. These are like your golden shield. They stop the landlord from leasing another space in the same complex to a direct competitor. You want to protect your big investment.
Absolutely critical.
For sure. And finally, those early termination and exit strategy clauses might need special tailoring because, selling or moving a medical facility with all its licensing and equipment is complex.
Right. Any more categories?
Just one more main area.
Yeah.
The overall complexity and timelines. Design and construction just take longer. You need medical-grade materials, you have acoustic needs, specific clinic workflows to plan, plus permits and inspections can take longer because of healthcare-related approvals like from Alberta Health Services, AHS if you're here in Alberta.
Okay.
And lastly, but maybe most importantly for day-to-day, client experience and parking. Patient and client flow, waiting room, exam rooms, surgery, recovery, it all has to be meticulously planned. You need ample parking, maybe designated spots, pet drop-off zones, after-hours access, all critical for clients and for animal safety.
Wow. You can really see how all these specific kind of non-negotiable needs just ripple through every single part of the process, from finding the right spot to hammering out that lease.
It's totally interconnected.
All right, moving on. One of the most critical pieces of advice in this roadmap, and maybe one that surprises people, is get your team in place before you even start searching for space. Why assemble the team so early? What's the thinking there?
Well, connecting it back to the bigger picture, this isn't just about being efficient. It's fundamentally about mitigating risk and making sure you don't miss out on a great opportunity because you weren't ready.
Okay, risk mitigation. Makes sense.
Yeah. The roadmap specifies several key specialists you'll want on your side right from the get-go. First, a commercial real estate lawyer. Their main job is risk mitigation. They review the lease, explain all the legal jargon and implications, give you advice, but crucially, they must specialize in commercial real estate.
Not just any lawyer.
Exactly. A general lawyer who isn't familiar with specific commercial clauses. They could actually cause unnecessary friction, slow things down, or even worse, lead to you losing a really desirable space.
Got it. Who else is on this pre-search team?
You'll definitely need an accountant. Get them involved as early as you possibly can. They help determine costs, build financial projections, navigate all the tax implications, and advise on those big financial decisions.
Finance covered.
Then, your designer or architect. Choose them early to really nail down a solid vision. They're the ones who put your ideas onto paper renderings, designs. This actually helps you sell your concept to a potential landlord. Plus, they coordinate with contractors and engineers to accurately calculate those build-out costs.
And you mentioned some specialize in vet clinics.
Yeah, absolutely. And finding a designer who specifically understands vet clinics can be a massive advantage. They know the flow, the materials, the specific needs.
Okay. Designer, check. Who's next?
If you have a franchisor or any partners, you need to define everyone's roles and responsibilities really early on. You don't want internal confusion hindering the process later. And for franchises, remember, the franchisor often dictates brand standards, lease clauses, space size, location criteria, signage, all that needs to be understood up front.
Right. Franchisor rules.
Then, your contractor. Look for someone experienced, bonded, insured, with a really strong track record, specifically in commercial build-outs, maybe even medical ones if possible. The key is engaging them before you secure the space.
Before. Why before?
So they can give you realistic build-out cost estimates for the specific spaces you're considering. This helps you minimize unexpected expenses and avoid costly delays or budget overruns later.
Smart. Okay. One more.
Yes, last but definitely not least, your lender or investor. Start those funding conversations early, really early. The source warns, time kills deals. You absolutely do not want to find the perfect location only to lose it because your financing wasn't ready to go.
Oof, yeah, time kills deals. That really hits home. It underscores that finding commercial space, especially for something specialized like a vet clinic, really is a team sport.
Totally.
Getting the right players on the field from day one seems paramount. What's maybe one unexpected way having, say, that specialized designer involved early can save you major headaches later?
Oh, that's a great point. A specialized designer, they understand animal flow, right? They know about sterile environments where heavy equipment needs to go, even where you need specific things like X-ray shielding built into the walls.
Things I wouldn't even think of.
Exactly. Without that expertise early on, you might sign a lease for a space that looks great on paper. But then during the detailed design phase, you discover the plumbing stacks aren't where you need them for exam rooms. Or maybe the ceiling height isn't sufficient for your diagnostic equipment.
Oh, no.
Yeah, a specialized designer flags those potential deal breakers before you commit. That can save you tens, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars in redesigns, or even having to walk away from a space you've already invested time and potentially money in.
Huge savings potential.
Right.
Okay, team assembled. Next, our roadmap really stresses the importance of a well-crafted business plan. How does having that blueprint specifically help when you're trying to secure the commercial lease?
Right, the business plan. It's your core roadmap, isn't it? It's that written document outlining your goals, your strategy, structure, services, target market, marketing plans, financial projections, operational details. The works. It's crucial because, yes, it guides your decisions and keeps you focused. But it does something really vital for others. It demonstrates very clearly to lenders, to investors, and maybe most importantly here, to landlords, that you've actually done your homework. You've planned this out.
So it builds confidence for the landlord.
Absolutely. Especially when they're considering a tenant like a vet clinic that requires significant, specialized, and often expensive medical fit-out. Your business plan gives them that confidence. It signals you're a serious, prepared, hopefully stable tenant. It genuinely improves your chances of securing a lease, especially in competitive areas where they might have other, less complex businesses interested in the same spot. It helps you stand out.
So it's way more than just a formality for a bank loan application.
Oh, much more.
It's a strategic tool that directly impacts your ability to get the right space and convinces the landlord you're a good bet for the long haul.
Precise.
Okay, so team's in place, business plan is solid. The next steps on the roadmap involve the active search and then actually securing that ideal location. How do you best define that search and then prepare, a winning offer?
Right. This is where the action really starts. First, the roadmap strongly advises establishing an exclusive relationship with a commercial real estate broker.
Yeah, exclusive. Why exclusive?
Because they become your dedicated eyes and ears. They leverage their networks to find suitable sites, and this often includes unlisted, kind of off-market opportunities that you'd never find on your own. An exclusive relationship means they're committed to you. But it's a partnership. You need clear communication about your schedules, your timelines.
Okay, get a dedicated broker. Then what?
Then comes defining your search criteria. This is where all those initial questions you ask yourself really pay off. You start filtering potential properties based on key factors.
Like what?
Well, demographics, for one. Who are your ideal clients? Where do they live? How close are competitors? Or maybe those synergistic businesses like a groomer or pharmacy. Is it accessible via transit? Then size. How much space do you need right now? What about future expansion? Are there specific building features needed for, say, medical emergencies or handling large pets? What about signage visibility? Accessibility for clients with mobility issues?
Right, the physical space.
Exactly. And related to that, building attributes. Is the zoning right for your primary use? Are there other uses in the building? Does it have a loading dock if you need one? Sufficient electrical capacity? The right kind of ventilation? Elevators, we already mentioned zoning and permits, but you double check that. And parking, is there enough? You also need to assess how much renovation or even demolition might be required. It all feeds into the decision.
That's a detailed checklist.
It has to be. Once you've kind of shortlisted properties based on that, the next step is setting up tours. And the key here is to coordinate a single visit for all your key advisors, your contractor, your designer, maybe even your lawyer sometimes.
Everyone goes at once.
Ideally, yes. So they can all check the building's core requirements together. Look at the fire systems, structural condition, code compliance, mechanical systems. Really validate all the assumptions you made on paper, right there on site.
Smart. Saves time and gets everyone on the same page.
Exactly. And finally, you prepare the offer. This is usually a letter of intent or LOI, sometimes called an offer to lease or OTL. This is where you formally propose the terms.
Okay, the LOI, what goes in it?
It states your intended use clearly. It outlines the financial terms, the net rent, the additional rent, that's the camber operating costs, property tax share, any management fee, and it sets out key timelines.
So, mostly about the money.
But here's what's fascinating. The roadmap stresses you should not focus solely on the economics. You absolutely need what are called workability conditions.
Workability condition.
Yeah, conditions that let you manage crucial factors after the LOI is signed, but before you're locked into the final lease. Things like getting a firm build-out cost estimate, securing your financing approval, getting the landlord's final management approval, and confirming all the necessary zoning, permits, or licenses.
So they're like safety nets.
Precisely. And crucially, this is where you include that exclusive language we talked about, like a restrictive use clause. You want it in the LOI to prevent the landlord from renting to a direct competitor while you're doing your due diligence.
Get that exclusivity locked in early.
Yes. And these workability conditions also provide a vital exit path. If something major falls through, say your financing doesn't come through, or the city denies a critical permit, these conditions allow you to walk away without penalty. And of course, if you're part of a franchise, their specific mandatory terms have to be incorporated right here in the LOI.
Okay, so what's the big takeaway here for our listeners? The letter of intent, it sounds like it's way more than just a price tag.
Oh, absolutely. It's a deeply strategic document. It defines the terms of your potential relationship with the landlord. It protects your significant investment of time and money during due diligence. And getting it right can truly make or break your ability to secure the right space and protect your business for the long term. It sets the stage for the final lease.
Got it. So after the LOI is agreed upon, the roadmap brings us to those final negotiations and actually getting ready for move-in.
Yeah.
What's involved in finalizing that lease document?
Right, so the LOI is agreed, but it's usually non-binding on the major terms. Now comes the formal lease agreement. Your lawyer plays an absolutely critical role here.
Okay, lawyer time again.
Yep. Their job is to meticulously review that detailed, often very long lease document to make absolutely sure it perfectly aligns with everything agreed upon in the executed letter of intent. No sneaky changes, no omissions.
Important detail check.
Hugely important. And you need to be really aware of review deadlines set by the landlord to allow your lawyer sufficient time for this thorough examination. It can take time. Your commercial real estate broker will often get involved again at this stage too, helping negotiate any remaining sticking points or minor adjustments alongside your lawyer.
So it's a final team effort to get the lease right.
Definitely. Lawyer and broker working together.
Okay, so let's say the negotiations are done, the ink is dry on the lease. What are those absolutely essential final tasks before you can actually take possession, get the keys to your new clinic space?
Right, almost there. Prior to getting those keys, there's a final checklist. You need to officially execute the lease document everyone signs. You have to provide a certificate of insurance to the landlord, proving you have the required coverage.
Insurance check.
Your architectural drawings, your final plans, they need to be formally approved by the landlord. You'll also need to provide proof that you have all the necessary permits, building permits, maybe health permits for your construction and operation.
Permits approved. Check.
And your contractors, they must provide proof of their own insurance and their WCB coverage. That's Workers' Compensation Board coverage. Landlords need assurance that the people working on their property are properly covered.
Right. Contractor compliance.
Exactly.
Right.
And a final piece of advice here. Remember to factor in sufficient time for all these approvals. Landlord approval of drawings, city permit approvals. There can often be back and forth, requests for changes, resubmissions. Don't assume it will happen overnight. Build buffer time into your schedule.
Buffer time. Good tip. Wow, this really ties everything together, doesn't it? From that really big picture strategic thinking and asking the right questions at the start, all the way down to the nitty-gritty legal and logistical steps right before you open the doors.
It really does. And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, navigating commercial real estate for a veterinary clinic, it's clearly not just about finding four walls and a roof. It's a complex, highly specialized journey. It absolutely requires foresight, building that strong expert team around you from the beginning and having a really deep understanding of the unique demands of this industry.
Definitely. Our deep dive into this vet commercial leasing roadmap today has really highlighted that being well informed about all those specifics, the specialized infrastructure, the zoning challenges, the longer timelines, those critical lease clauses like the exclusive use clause, it can genuinely transform what seems like a really daunting process into a strategic advantage.
I agree. It's truly about preparing for success long, long before you even think about signing on that dotted line.
Absolutely. Preparation is key.